Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back. Are you safe? Yes, hope that you are safe at your home. Okay, let's start our class. We are moving to a new chapter. In the previous class, we have finished our second chapter. Now we are moving to third chapter, atoms and molecules. Atoms and molecules. In the previous chapter, we have arrived at on dividing matter. We have arrived at elements and pure substance, elements and compounds, isn't it? Yes. How the elements and compounds are made up? Yes. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the basic particles of a matter. In ancient periods, many philosophers had made some conclusions and philosophies about the smallest particles of matter. Okay, in around 500 BC, Indian philosopher Maharishi Kanat, he postulated that when we divide matter, we reach a smaller particle which cannot be divided further. Okay, and he called then further division will not be possible for that particle, and he called that particle as Paramanu. He called that particle as Paramanu. Then another Indian philosopher called Pakuda Katyayama, he elaborated this concept and he normally found that particles normally exist. He found that these particles normally exist in a combined form and which gives us various types of elements. First, Maharishi said that every matters, on dividing every matters, we get last we get a particle which he called Paramanu, and it cannot be further divided into two. And after him, an Indian philosopher said that these particles are in a combined form and it combined to get various different items around us. And around the same era, an ancient Greek philosopher, before that Indian philosopher made some assumption. After that, in the same era, an Greek philosopher Democritus and Leucippus, they suggested that when on dividing the matter, a stage will come when the particle obtained cannot be divided further. That Democritus called that particle as atom. Okay, Democritus called that particle as atom. Atom is the smallest particle of a matter which cannot be further divided. By the end of the 18th century, scientists recognized that difference between the elements and compounds. At the end of the 18th century, difference between elements and compounds have found out. Then naturally became interested in finding out how and why elements combine and what happens when they combine. How these elements combines to form compounds and why these elements combines to form compounds. And Antoine Lavoisier led the foundation of chemical science by establishing two important laws of chemical combination. Antoine Lavoisier is the father of modern chemistry. Do you know that? Yes. Father of modern chemistry is Antoine Lavoisier. He is the founder of chemical science. He is the founder of chemical science. He establishes two important laws of chemical combination. Chemical combination. Combination means elements combined to form compounds. That is chemical combination. He establishes two important laws of chemical combination. We are now going to discuss about that two laws of chemical combination. First law is law of conservation of mass. Okay, law of chemical combination. There is two laws of chemical combination. First one is law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. There is an activity 3.1. There are different compounds which are grouped as X and some other compounds which are grouped as Y. What we have to do is take one compound from X and take one compound from Y and join together to form a new chemical compound, and their mass is also given in there. There is an activity, but I will explain it simply. First, when I take X from X which has if 1.25 gram, that it is copper sulfate. When I add with Y which has a mass with 1.43 gram, and what we get? We get a chemical compound. A chemical compound XY, its mass will be 2.68. That is, on adding 1.25 plus 1.43, we get 2.68. Okay, so what we can conclude from this? Yes, during a chemical combination or chemical process, neither mass of the components are neither created nor destroyed when new substance is formed here, but the mass is same as that of the components. Okay, so the law is that law of conservation of mass states that the mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. We cannot make new mass, or we cannot minus the or cannot decrease the masses of the existing compounds. Okay, so in a chemical combination, the mass neither be created nor destroyed. Okay, so this is law of conservation of mass. Okay, then next is law of constant proportion. Law of constant proportions. Law of constant proportion. Lavoisier along with the other scientists noted that many compounds were composed of two or more elements, and each compound had the same elements in the same proportion. That is, for example, compound H2O. H2O is water. Water is formed by combining two hydrogen atom and one oxygen. There are two elements in water, which are the hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen. When only two hydrogen atom is combined with oxygen, water is formed. If three oxygen atom is combined with three hydrogen atom is combined with the oxygen, what happens? We will not get water. It is another compound. So there is a definite proportion for the amount of or number of atoms that join. Okay, for example, CO2 is formed. Carbon dioxide is formed by combining one carbon and two oxygen. If two carbon comes, we cannot say that it is carbon dioxide. So every compound has a definite proportion. The ratio of mass of oxygen is always 1:8. Okay, and if the mass of hydrogen is 1 and if the mass of oxygen is 8, we get water which has a mass of 9 gram. Okay, so then if in the case of another compound, ammonia is NH3. Okay, NH3. If the mass of the proportion ratio of mass of ammonia and hydrogen is, if this is the ratio of mass of nitrogen and hydrogen, the mass of the nitrogen will be 17 gram. Okay, then so this is led to the law of constant proportion, which is also known as law of definite proportion. Okay, law of constant proportion is also called law of definite proportion. And the law say that this law was stated by Proust, and the law says that in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. Okay, in a chemical substance the elements are always present in a definite proportions by mass, not by number, by mass. The elements are in a definite proportions. Okay, and then next problem is arrived. What is next problem is that scientists was to give appropriate explanation of these laws. They couldn't give proper explanation for these two laws, and there comes John Dalton, British chemist John Dalton. He provided the basic theory about the nature of matter. He is a scientist who gave basic theory about the nature of matter, and he picked up the idea of visibility of matter, and which was till then just a philosophy. He took the name atoms. He took the name atoms from the Greek philosophers and said that the smallest particles of matter are atoms. He concluded that, John Dalton concluded that the smallest particle of matter is atoms. His theory was based on law of chemical combination. His theory was based on law of chemical combination, and Dalton's atomic theory provided an explanation for the law of conservation of mass and the law of definite proportion. So after them, John Dalton gave explanation for these two laws. He named atoms as the basic smallest particle of matter. About John Dalton is given in the box. John Dalton was born in a poor weaver's family in 1766 in England. He began his career as a teacher at the age of 12. He began his career as a teacher in the age of 12. Then 7 years later he became a school principal. 7 years later, that is at his 19 he became a school principal. In 1973, Dalton left for Manchester to teach mathematics, physics and chemistry in a college. He spent most of his life there teaching and researching, and in 1808 he presented his atomic theory, which was a turning point in the study of matter. John Dalton is a scientist who proposed atomic theory. What is atomic theory? According to John Dalton atomic theory, all matter, whether an elements or compounds or mixture, is composed of small particles called atoms. His atomic theory proposed, he proposed atomic theory. In that it said that all the matter which is either be element, compound or mixture, it is made up of atom. അതായത് നമുക്ക് ചുറ്റുള്ള നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു മാറ്റേഴ്സിനെ രണ്ടായിട്ട് തരംതിരിച്ചു, പ്യുവർ സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് ആൻഡ് മിക്സ്ചേഴ്സ്. പ്യുവർ സബ്സ്റ്റൻസിലുള്ള എലമെൻറ്റ്സ് ആൻഡ് കോമ്പൗണ്ട്സ്, എലമെൻറ്റ്സ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത് കോമ്പൗണ്ട്സ് ആവും, കോമ്പൗണ്ട്സ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത് മിക്സ്ചേഴ്സ് ആവും. ഈ all items, all substances are made up of atoms. ഇതെല്ലാം നമ്മുടെ ചുറ്റുള്ള every object, it is made up of atoms. Okay, and his postulates of his theory, main postulates of his theories are given in the textbook in page number 32. First postulate is all matter is made up of very tiny particle called atoms. All particles are made up of very tiny particle called atom. Atoms are indivisible particle which cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Okay, it is indivisible. It cannot be divided further and it cannot be created or destroyed during a chemical reaction. Then atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical properties. The atoms of a given element, for example, atoms of hydrogen element are identical in their chemical properties and in mass. Every atoms of hydrogen has same mass, and when we take the atoms of carbon or atoms of magnesium, every atoms of elements have definite properties, are identical in mass and chemical properties. Atoms of different elements have different masses and chemical properties. The mass of the hydrogen atom is not equal to mass of the oxygen atom. Okay, so atoms of different elements are having different masses and they are different in their chemical property. The chemical property of hydrogen atom is not same as to chemical property of oxygen atom. Okay, then next postulate is that atoms combine in the ratio of small whole number to form compounds. They will combine in a small whole number, okay, to form compounds. Then the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. That we have already discussed the number of atom, the relative number and kinds of atom. Relative number in water there is 2 hydrogen atom and 1 oxygen atom. So relative number is constant in every compounds. Okay. Then what is atom? We are going to discuss about what is atom. What is atom? For example, taking we can conclude it with an example. When how we can made a wall? How we can made a wall? Yes, we will make a wall with bricks. Bricks are joined. Same type of bricks are joined together to form a big wall. And this wall here 4 walls. 4 walls are joined together to form a room. Different rooms are joined together to form a building. Different buildings are joined together to form whole department. And it is like that. Okay. Then this atoms are also like this. The atoms are joined together to form every object. So there are millions of atoms in an object. For example, this duster is formed by joining different atoms together. Okay, so the building blocks of all matters are atoms. Okay, building blocks of all matters are atoms. Atoms adikki vechittana, atoms combine cheyiditana ella matters, every matters around us is prepared. Okay, then how big are atoms? What is the size of atom? How big are atoms? Can we see atoms? No, atoms are very, very small. They are smaller than anything that we can imagine or compare with. It is it is very small, beyond our imagination, that we can't see the atom. That is smallest. If we take a matter, the smallest particle of the matter is atom. So we can't see that atom. Then more than millions of atoms when we stacked would make a layer barely as thick as millions of atoms നമ്മൾ അടുക്കി വെച്ച് ആക്കിയാലേ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് കിട്ടുള്ളൂ, ഒരു തിക്ക് ഒരു ലെയർ ഓഫ് പേപ്പർ ഷീറ്റിൻ്റെ അത്ര കിട്ടണമെങ്കിൽ, ഒരു പേപ്പർ ഷീറ്റിൻ്റെ അത്ര കട്ടി കിട്ടണമെങ്കിൽ മില്യൺസ് ഓഫ് ആറ്റംസ് അടുക്കി വെച്ചിട്ട് വേണം അത്രയും കിട്ടാൻ. സോ വി ക്യാൻ ഇമാജിൻ ദാറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ചോക്ക് പീസിൽ എത്ര മില്യൺസ് ഓഫ് ആറ്റംസ് ഉണ്ടാവുമെന്ന് നമുക്ക് ആലോചിച്ചാൽ തന്നെ കിട്ടും. ദെൻ atomic radius is measured in nanometer, and we cannot take centimeter or kilometer to measure the radius of atom. So we will measure the radius of atom in nanometer. What is nanometer? Nanometer 1/10⁻⁹. When we divide 1 meter with 1090, what is that is, what happens when we divide 1 with 10? Yes, we get 0.1. When it is 100, we get 0.01. When it is 1000, we get 0.001, and something like 10 with 1 with 9 zeros. What happened? That is nanometer. 1 nanometer. Okay, 1 nanometer is that dividing 1 meter by 9 zeros. Okay, then 1 meter is what? 10⁻⁹ nanometer. Okay, this 1 nanometer, 1 into 10⁻⁹ nanometer is 1 meter. Okay, then relative sizes or radii of different elements are different atoms of elements are given in your textbook. That is in page number 33. Atom of hydrogen, radii of atom of hydrogen 10⁻⁻10. Molecule of water, radii of molecule of water 10⁻⁻9. Molecule of hemoglobin 10⁻⁻8. Grain of sand 10⁻⁻4 and 10⁻⁻2. Watermelon 10⁻⁻1. So different radii are for different atoms and particles. Then we have said that atoms are that much smaller, beyond our imagination. Then why we need to study about atoms? We can't see atoms. Then why we should study about atoms? Yes, atoms are there, but we can see that with the atoms, every matters are made up with these atoms, and every change include atoms. Everywhere there is atom, so we need to know about it. Okay, whatever we do, it affect constantly on the atoms, so we should know about atoms. The magnified image of atoms are given in your textbook in page number 33. That is, there is figure 3.2. Magnified image, an image of surface of silicon's atoms. So it is a magnified image, so we can't see the atoms by our naked eye. So that is about atoms. And we have discussed about 2 laws of conservation of mass, law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. Okay, let's wind up today's class. Hope that you understood. Let's discuss more in the next class. Okay, let's meet in the next class. Okay, bye.